Okay, Dr. Raja Adzrin pun dah standby dah tu.
Okay, I think we can start now, Dr. Tahira.
Okay, boleh. So, sama juga masa 15 minit untuk present. As I said to you, evaluation will be on advisor, but examiner akan bagi komen for any yang kata recommendation and penambahbaikan for the next Viva. Okay? Alright. So, your time starts now, group 1. All the best.
Good day and good morning, Dr. Ahmad, Syamil, Ahmad Fadzil, our examiner today, our group member, Norhana, Syamsyul, and myself. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our research proposal today. Our topic is evaluating the performance of investigation officer in solving cybercrime cases. So a bit introduction for our team member. Syamsyul and myself are attached in PDRM. We attached in Commercial Crime Investigation Department in IPK Johor, while Hana is currently attached in the manufacturing company in Pasir Gudang. So indirectly, by giving you the introduction, you might know why we do choose this topic, Doctor. And special thanks to our supervisor, Dr. Raja, who are willing to give us the guidance all the way from time to time, even though she had a lot of other duty and job burden that she need to do. Okay, next.
Okay, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm having some problem. I share again.
So basically, this is our presentation overview today. I will cover chapter 1, while Syamsyul will cover the chapter 2, and Norhana will cover chapter 3. We'll cover more the background of study, situational analysis, problem statement, research framework, research question, and also research objective. Next. So according to Department of Statistics of Malaysia, cybercrime cases from time to time is increasing. We can see in 2021, the cases increased to 37,000 in whole Malaysia. And also the losses, we can see is a high value of losses in 2022, which there is almost 600 million for the whole Malaysia. So that is why we see that for me and Syamsyul, we see that the cybercrime is the most threat criminal offense that happen in Malaysia nowadays. So that is why we choose this topic. And then for the purpose of this proposal, we are focusing on Johor cases, Doctor. Next. So this is the background of organization for Police Johor, which is headed by CP Datuk Kamarul Zaman bin Mamat. So here in Johor, we have 10 departments. So then we would like to focus only on commercial crime investigation department, who are headed by SCP Amran bin Majusin. This is the division. This is the department They will investigate the commercial cybercrime cases. Next. So this is what we have, the organization chart for commercial crime investigation department in Johor. We have 13 districts altogether. So in this all 13 districts, we have the investigation officer, consists of inspector and also sergeant. They are the one who will investigate these cybercrime cases. So whenever complainant lodge report at the police station, these are the officer who will handle the case. So in total in Johor, the whole Johor, we have 72 officer, consists of inspector and sergeant. Next. So here are the current situation that our investigation officer have for the SWOT analysis. We can see the strength, the weakness, opportunity, or also threat. Next. So this is the statistic of the cybercrime cases which occur in first quarter of 2023. So we can see the cases is 1,600 plus, and the losses is amounting to 63 million. So we can see out of this number, there's only 500 something is solved, which they are being charged, or the case was NFA, the case is filed, and other than that, we still have 1,146 case pending. So this is a big issue and big matter for us. So that's why we hope maybe we can find something and have some solution to this matter at the end of our study, our proposal. Next. So this is our research framework. Frankly speaking, we are choosing this independent variable but before we find the theory. So this is based on what we know in general, because we do see that this is the most important thing that might affect the performance of the investigation officer to solve the case. That is motivation, attitude, workload, and also knowledge. Next. So our RO is, we would like to know how long the duration taken by IO and AIO in solving the cybercrime cases, and what are the factors that influence IO and IO solving cybercrime cases, and what are the recommendations. This is our RO, and our research question, RQ. Then our RO is to identify the duration taken by IO and IO to solve the cybercrime cases, to examine the factor that influence IO and IO in solving cybercrime cases, and also to give any recommendation to the IO to improve the time taken in solving the cybercrime cases. Next. That's all from me, Doctor. The next one will be continued by Syamsyul. Thank you.
Thank you, Timmy. For literature review, we decide to read and research more on a few topics, which are goal setting theory, cybercrime, employee performance, their motivation, their attitude, their workload, and their knowledge. For the first topic, the goal setting theory, according to Newman, if the goal is too difficult to finish, the employees may perform less than anticipated, and they will cope in two ways to cater with this situation. And Sherman Horn summarized the guideline in goal setting as follows. Difficult goals are anticipated will lead to higher performance than less difficult ones. And according to Edwin, goal setting is interpreted as the process of developing, negotiating, and formalizing the target of objective that one's responsible to accomplish. The second topic is cybercrime. Next. According to Tajani, the evidence showed that cybercrime rates are increasing while the traditional crime decrease. However, now we found that due to long completion time to solve cybercrime cases, the burden of workload is increasing as the cases were accumulated and the investigation of financial crime cases took a long process has affected the image of regulatory bodies. The third topic, next. The third topic is employee performance overall. Statement of a higher someone commitment to work, the better someone performance has been supported by study from Harinoto and Bogi Triatmanto, Lotunani, Bandula Jayatilaki, Gunawan, and Metin and Asri. Employee performance can be defined in terms of employee output, expected fulfillment of tasks in job description along with extra work performance which set and supported by Atasi, Yang Mantidis, and Chakizalau and Muhammad. For the topic motivation could influence employee performance according to Adhikara and Ilianti, if the job is fascinating based on appreciation for the job they done, job security, giving a good learning opportunity, the satisfying income level, pleasant working condition, and an open working environment motivated new recruiter to undertake the job. While Calvin and Gonçalves, they are defined motivation as psychological process that is an interactive process that challenge internal motive that drive a person action, which activate and encourage him to act with the purpose of reaching the objective. Next, attitude could influence employee performance topic where Parkas have said that attitude can affect the employee performance together with other variables as job satisfaction, job commitment, training, and motivation. And Tan and Ha said that is in order to make the employee have better attitude to perform better training and development is needed. From topic workload could influence employee performance. From Washiri and Salam study show that employees whom are initially very productive being strained in a long time due to their workload, slowness in their output as a result of a poor concentration, mental block, poor performance, and poor decision making. In morality study, workload occur when individual has too much work to do and could lead the high level stress of labor. The characteristic of workload such as long hours of work, too many responsibilities, dealing with constant crisis, working under time pressure, and dealing with difficult people. Next topic is knowledge to influence employee performance. According to Syahmi and knowledge focused leadership has favorable impact on employee work engagement, effective commitment, and knowledge behavior. Hussein also said that knowledge sharing improve the skill and capabilities of an employees as well as their problem solving. Throughout the literature review, we can deduce that all these four factors highlight could affect the employee performance, including IO and AIO. Thus, we deduce four hypotheses from all the reading, which our hypothesis one state that motivation is positively associated to IO and NIO performance in complete cybercrime cases within time frame. Our hypothesis 2 state that attitude is positively associated to IO and AIO performance in incomplete cybercrime cases within a time frame. Our hypothesis 3 state that workload is positively associated to IO and AIO performance in complete cybercrime cases within a time frame. And finally, our hypothesis 4 state that knowledge is positively associated to IO and AIO performance in complete cybercrime cases within a time frame. Next, I will pass to our next presenter, Norhana. Thank you.
Thank you, Syamsyul and also Timmy. Now I proceed to our chapter 3, which is methodology. So our research design is actually a descriptive statistic whereby it is to define a subject and also to describe the characteristics that are associated with the subject population. In this research, we are focusing on to evaluating the performance of investigation officer in solving the cybercrime cases, and it is a cross-sectional time horizon whereby it is done only at a one point of time and with the DV of performance, and we have 4 IVs, which are motivation, attitude, workload, and also knowledge. And then our sampling design is based on the populations of IO and IO in Johor with a populations of 72 officers. And our data collection is based on primary and also secondary data. So the primary is based on by constructing the questionnaire, and we will employ the checklist. And our secondary data is based on the commercial crime information system, and the data will be collected. I mean, the primary data will be collected 2 days after the email circulations. And our research instrument is using a structured set of questionnaires, and it is adopted from the literature review, and it been customized to meet our research question. And then for our data analysis, we will use reliability and validity test, which is Acromba Alpha. And we are using descriptive statistic to answer our research question number 1. And to test the hypothesis, we will use t-test. And to answer the research question number 2, we will use multiple linear regressions. So for the reliability is actually to see the degree to which the items are homogeneous, and we will use Cromba alpha to assess the reliability. So it is predicted that the higher Cromba alpha will shows that it is more dependable of its internal consistency. As for the descriptive statistic, we use it because it will give informative and summarizations of the data. For instance, we will use the average of duration of IO and IO in solving the cybercrime cases, and also we will see if there is any possibilities, the working experiences, and also the education level in solving the cybercrime cases within IO and also IO. And also we use multiple regression model because it is used to predict the values of DV due to the changes of IV. And to test the hypothesis, we will use the t-test because it is a correlational hypothesis. So we will to see if there is a positive or negative relationship. But based on literature review that we have reviewed, it is been found that the 4 IVs have a positive relationship. So this is our time frame that taken to prepare this proposal. So we are expected to conduct the questionnaire within November to December. So that's all the proposal from us, Doctor.
All right, thank you for the presentation. Let's proceed with the feedback. Can you roll back to the first slide? Okay, just now, Mr. Timmy, you did mention about, the title is Evaluating the Performance of Investigation Officer in Solving Cybercrime Cases, right? So this one is cybercrime cases related to the whole Malaysia ataupun di mana?
Thank you, Doctor, for the question. Okay. For the purpose of for your information, for the purpose of our proposal, this proposal, we are focusing only in Johor cases, the whole Johor.
All right, okay. The whole Johor, because you know what, throughout the presentation, I can see that the content is already there, the idea is there, just that perhaps some of the alignment is needed. Okay, so whenever you say that you want to evaluate the performance of investigation officer, so is it the factors you gave us just now, motivation, and then attitude, workload, and also knowledge, right? So it needs to be parallel. The next big question is, how are you going to evaluate the performance? Okay, the measurement performance, how are you going to measure this, Mr. Timmy?
According to our internal policy in commercial crime investigation, there's a guideline given by our top director. So say every investigation officer need to complete their investigation within time frame. Time frame means they are given three months to complete each of the case. So if let's say after 3 months they fail to complete the case, that's consider not is consider what Sam is considered against the policy lah, doctor.
I see. All right.
It's
Second
compared
slide,
the
please.
impression given.
Okay, can you move on to the second slide? Saying that thing was a kid. You know, when you talk about performance, and then you did give us, you know, the presentation regarding the losses of 600 something million, right? So does it reflect to the only, you know, this is caused by the performance issue?
Actually, doctor, so we pretty sure that this is all about performance by the IO because because the case is the whole Malaysia, the case is more or less the same. But then some of the state can perform better, some of it cannot perform. Perform means they are completing the cases within the time frame. So we strongly believe that this the factor is more to the performance of the investigation officer, and that's why um, we are really eager to know is this four factor affect their performance here in Johor.
Okay,
Thank you,
all right.
doctor.
Okay, thank you. Can you just select problem statement tadi? Problem statement. Okay, you know what? Whenever we do this kind of problem segment, it should reflect the title of your research. Yeah, title of your research here, evaluating the performance of investigation officers in solving cyber crime cases. So we have this kind of, you know, interpretation that you're going to use factors, and your DV would be the performance of the investigation officer. So by right in research, yeah, you really need to look on how are you going to operationalize each of these variables, especially your DV. Okay, Mr. Timmy, you did mention there are specific policies relating on the measurement of this and that. So
Correct.
you can use that, but it is a lot safer if you can take this measurement of, you know, performance evaluation based on established academia. So with that being said, if you can find the right theory, okay, for, you know, performance, it will be a lot better. Okay? Because in academia begini tau, there's a lot of jingle-jangle fallacy. Yeah, doesn't mean that kalau you ambil daripada sini, the meaning is going to be the same. So you really need to be careful to which authors, to which specific theories that you are going to underpin your research. Because at the end of the day, this kind of theory will save you, will back you up if, let's say, your result is like this and that. Okay? So that is my first recommendation. Second, let's take a look on the factors. Yang tadi motivation, attitude, workload, knowledge. Okay, this one. Okay, yeah, my comment here, it collapsed from the first comment, yeah, the second comment. So it's the same. I really recommend you to find a specific theory related to performance, yeah, performance evaluation dan sebagainya. How are you going to measure their performance? Okay, so the same goes to motivation, attitude, workload, knowledge. For example, here, Mr. Timmy, attitude, there's a lot of scholars who measure attitude. Okay, attitude. And then we have a lot of contradictory, the parallel finding and sebagainya. For example, if you look on the research by Scholl Orek, 2018, he mentions specifically that attitude is ambivalent. And the measurement for attitudes need to be carefully made. Kalau you buat measurement begini, okay, the result will be like this. So you should know the aftermath of this kind of measurement. So here, it really concerns how are you going to operationalize every of this variable? Okay. So itu kena betul-betul lah. So with that, try to revisit the theory. Okay, by revisiting the theory, only you can see the past research. How did they, evaluate the performance? Macam mana dia buat? What kind of instrument that they use? Okay, and again, you have to adopt and adapt only. Tadi during the presentation, I did hear that, I think siapa mention, okay, I did mention kata nak construct instrument sendiri, and then again, nasib baik, made a comeback, kata adopted and adapted. Questionnaires should never be, you construct sendiri, tak boleh. Okay, if let's say you nak construct sendiri, you can, pursue PhD afterwards, because there are a lot of steps. Whenever you want to construct your own questionnaires, it concerns with testing, a lot of testing. So for your level, MBA level, just do benda yang feasible, okay, but meaningful lah. Okay. The third one. Can I see your research question, research objective? Okay, this first one. Okay, first RO, to identify the duration taken by IO and AIO in solving cybercrime cases. Why do we need this?
Thank you, Doctor, for the question.
Mhm.
So we come back to our policy that I told just now. So we would like to know whether average IO or how long do we want to know? Is it this investigation is along the way with our policy or not? Means that we have specified below 3 months or after 3 months. That's what we our objective is.
I see. So if let's say it is your objective, you know what? The first research objective will, it will cap everything, put your findings to a certain ceiling though. For example, to identify the duration taken, this one can just be made into one, specific question. How long? And then they will answer that. So the next question comes is for the analysis. So what can we do from this analysis? If let's say you measure this kind of thing, okay, the first RO you map into certain variable, for example, there's a lot that you can say. Okay, if you were in the presentation just now, ada juga yang present regarding police, right? The career growth opportunities. Okay, there were more than 5 elements, okay, 5 indicators that measure that. So you can get richer amount of analysis instead of just, to identify the duration taken. Faham tak? Okay, all right. But again, just sit down and discuss with your, supervisor regarding this one.
Thanks, Doctor.
Okay, alignment lah. I would say some kind of alignment is needed, especially on the problem segment. Again, you did mention about the, losses and everything. I would believe that one should be part of, the earlier section, the introduction, perhaps the overview. When it comes to problem segment, we want to amplify the issues and problems related to your DV and IV. So IV is the factors. So you need to explain that problem, pertaining problem related to your IV, and most importantly your DV, performance. So if let's say you cannot find specific indicators that mention that IO officer ada problem, this and that, you can draw in from academia, no problem. Okay, that's how we do problem statement lah. We just zoom in directly to that particular research title. Okay, performance investigation. So with that being said, losses dan sebagainya letak di awal-awal lah, which is that one is menarik, tapi we want to zoom in into the issues, the problems directly. Okay, last question, what will be your sampling technique? I think Puan Norhana presented about this, the sampling.
Yes. Sampling technique we will use Likert scale as the question is.
Okay, all right, okay. Technique, we have two techniques. First one is what? Random and non-random. Again, random and non-random. So which technique? Likert scale is just a scale, ordinal scale. Apa tu? What kind of? Is it purposive sampling or what? Perhaps Mr. Syamsyul can also help.
Yes, sir. Thank you for
It's
your
a random.
question.
Is it random?
We
Yes.
we
Sorry,
the IO and IO within in Johor. Doctor.
Okay, so the population just now you did mention 70 plus, is that?
72, yep.
Yeah, so so are you going to choose everybody or just make a sample out of them?
Yeah, everyone, doctor.
Everyone. So if everyone, yeah lah, nak put 70 plus only kan. If let's say it is feasible, then you can try to look on total sampling technique. Yeah, total sampling technique. So everyone is involved in the sampling technique. Gitu. So you make the result more robust because everyone is counted in lah. Okay, that one is, yeah, my final recommendation. So everything, please revisit, sit down and discuss with your supervisor. Okay? All right, all the best. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Syahmi. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. Hopefully Group 1 Emba26 will take that all for consideration to be discuss with your supervisor later. Okay, so put it on slideshow. Nanti kod tu kena betulkan bukan BM701, AA701, ABP791. Tak nampak apa-apa lagi ni?
Nampak pun sekejap
Okay. Tak apa. That's why we need to test kan. Bukan BM kod lama kat Lakin tu. ABP791. Alright. Thank you. And slideshow kan. Viber lagi dia nak Viber dah ni.
Viva terus ni.
Ni Viber terus ni. Hebat saya ni.
Okay, Dr. Tahira, I think we can proceed now.
Alright. Okay, Group 2. All the best.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to our panel, Dr. Ahmad, Syahmi and everyone. Today our group are going to present our proposal of turnover intention among lecturers in private higher education, a study of KYPJ. First of all, I would like to introduce our group member. My name is Aisyah Zahra binti and my other group member are Norazizah Bahar and Muhammad Syarari bin Yam. So let's proceed to introduction.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, today I will be discussing the factor influencing turnover intention among lecturer in KYPJ. Lecturer are crucial stakeholder. Slide, sorry. For the introduction, lecturer are important for higher education institution, but turnover among them is common problem, especially in private institution like College Yayasan Pelajaran Johor. Turnover intention is cognitive state that reflects an employee's level of planning to leave their organization and is linked to negative outcomes such as decreased job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and job performance level. Next, sorry. Okay, for the background of the research, we use the Herzberg two-factor theory, which is also known as a motivation hygiene theory. Its primary focus on understanding job satisfaction and motivation in the workplace. Herzberg theory does not directly address the turnover intention, but it provides a framework for understanding the factor that can contribute to dissatisfaction and indirectly influence individual decision regarding leaving or staying in their jobs. According to Herzberg theory, there are two sets of factors that affect job satisfaction and motivation. Hygiene theory, hygiene factor, and motivators. The hygiene factor that prevent dissatisfaction is pay and benefit, job security, and work-life balance, while the career development is motivators factors that promote job satisfaction. We can say when the individual that experience this factor, they are more likely to feel satisfied and motivated in their jobs. Next. For the background of the industry, private higher education institutions in Malaysia have been growing rapidly, catering to the almost half of the total higher education student. These institutions offer diverse academic programs in popular fields such as business, engineering, social science, and information technology. To ensure the quality, the Malaysian Policy Agency accredited program offered the private institution by providing students with the confidence in their education choice. However, private institutions face challenge in retaining the critical employees, especially lecturers, which is who play a vital role in delivering quality education in guiding students. In simple terms, private institutions in Malaysia are growing and offering various programs, but they struggle to retain important staff like the lecturer. Next. For the background of the company, College Yasa Project Johor is a private education institution in Malaysia that offer education to students who cannot attend to the public university. YPJ offers to the various programs, including diploma, certificate, vocational training, and short course. They collaborate with the other university in Malaysia, which allows students to obtain degree from reputable institutions without leaving their home states, which is Johor Bahru. KYPJ has 3 schools that provide special education in different fields and practical experience through internship and industry collaboration. All KYPJ programs are recognized and valued by employer and other academic institutions in Malaysia, which helps students advance in their career. Next. Okay, we move to the SWOT analysis. We go to the strength, which is KYPJ is located in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. It benefits from its strategic location in thriving trade in business center. The institution offer various programs in a field allowing students to pursue their interests and professional goals with experienced faculty members and advanced facilities. KYPJ also found collaboration with the business organization, enabling access to internship, business project, and networking opportunities. Furthermore, KYPJ qualifications are accredited by the MQA and JPT. However, YPJ also witnessed that could impede its success, including the constraint of the financial resources, inadequate student support service, limited technology infrastructure, outdated content, and a lack of the program diversified. To strengthen its position in Malaysia, KYPJ can take several steps. Firstly, they can expand program offering and improve marketing effort to attract more students. Secondly, KYPJ can adopt a new technology and embracing digital transformation that can enhance operation and provide an improved learning experience. Other than that, KYPJ can establish partnership with the industry, which can offer students more opportunity for internship program. KYPJ also can target international students by customized program to meet their preference and need. And last, to focus on research and innovation that can boost KYPJ academic reputation, which is to attract funding and create more opportunity for the institution and student. For the threats, KYPJ cooperation and success include the intense competition from other private higher education institutions and public universities, the changes in government policies and regulation, economic condition, rapid technology advancement, and socio-political factors. Next. Okay, for the problem statement, KYPJ relies on their lecturer to provide quality education, but they worry about the increasing number of lecturers leaving. We can see it from the graph. The sum of number of lecturers who resigned from year 2018 to 2022 was increasing, excluded for the year 2020, which is COVID-19. Next. Okay. The data presented the detailed proportion of staff resign based on their appointment, which are permanent or contract based. As we can see that both type of lecturer have been resigned at a similar rate, which is indicating that the issue is widespread and not limited to one group of employees. Therefore, our study is aimed to examine the factor that contribute to turnover retention among lecturers in KYPJ. And it's important to hold the implication for organizational behavior and management and can provide valuable insight to decision maker for educational policy. Thank you.
Next, we go to the theoretical framework to find the independent variable. We put the independent variable that is pay and benefit, job security, work-life balance, and career development. For dependent variable is turnover intention among lecturers in KYPJ. The independent variable is from the Herzberg theories. Next, the literature review. For the pay and benefit, Burhanuddin and Wijanoko found that pay satisfaction was a significant predictor of turnover intention. Lee et al. In 1996 from previous studies suggested that pay and job alternative were important factor in turnover process. Second is job security. Lambert and Hogan 2008 found that employee with high job satisfaction and organizational commitment tend to have low turnover intention. Makableh, Helalat, and Supian Muhammad No in 2023 also found that job security positively and significantly affect job satisfaction. For work-life balance, Kaur and Randawa 2021 indicate that promoting work-life balance can reduce employee turnover intention. Fayazi and Aslani in 2015 at a previous research found that work-life balance significantly negatively impact turnover intention. In career development, Karate P and Olubat 2016 found that work social support boosts career adaptability and career satisfaction and reducing turnover intention. Salis et al. In 2022 found that career planning, career satisfaction have partially mediate the relationship between career planning and employee turnover intention. Next, we go to the research question. The question number 1 is what are the correlation between pay and benefit, job security, work-life balance, and career development and turnover intention among lecturers in KYPJ. Question number 2 is what are the factors that influence lecturers' intention to leave their current position at KYPJ. For the research objective number 1 is to determine the correlation pay and benefit, job security, work-life balance, career development, and turnover intention among lecturers in KYPJ. For objective number 2, to examine what are the factors that influence lecturers' intention to leave their current position at KYPJ.
Okay, next is methodology. For the data, we will be using primary data, which is questionnaire. The population focus on lecturers that are still working in KYPJ as at June 2023, with a total of 113 lecturers. And the sampling technique we'll be using is simple random sampling, and this sampling method is involved selecting the lecturer in KYPJ. So in this study, the questionnaire survey will be used as the main tool to collect data from all respondents, and the advantage of using questionnaire include the relatively low cost and anonymity among respondents, which will lead to more and open, truthful responses. So the questionnaire will be distributed via online using Google Form to all targeted lecturers in KYPJ on October 2023. And next slide. Okay, the hypothesis of the research are the first one, pay and benefit. HO, the pay and benefit does not significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. H1, the turnover intention, the pay and benefit is significantly influence the turnover intention among lecturer in KYPJ. Number 2, job security. HO, the job security does not significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. H1, the job security is significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. Number 3 is work-life balances. HO, the work-life balances do not significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. H1, the work-life balances are significantly influence the turnover intention among lecturer in KYPJ. And number 4 is career developments. HO, the career developments do not significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. And H1 is the career development is significantly influence the turnover intention among the lecturer in KYPJ. Next slide. For the data analysis method, the descriptive statistic, it is a useful tool for understanding the shape and distribution of a data set and identifying any outliers or patterns within the data. So the researchers utilize this method to explain the collected data from section A of the questionnaire, which is respondents' demography, such as gender, ethnicity, income level, level of education, and experience of work. Next slide. So for correlation test, it is a statistical method used to determine the strength and direction of the relationship between two variables. This will be used to answer objective one of this research. The correlation coefficient measures the strength of the relationship, while the p-value indicates the statistical significance of the correlation, and the p-value indicates the probability of obtaining a correlation coefficient as extreme or more extreme than the observed correlation coefficient under the null hypothesis that there is no correlation between the two variables. So the rules of thumb of correlation coefficient size are in the table on the slide. Next slide. So next is reliability test. So in order to determine the reliability of the surveys, we see several Likert scale questions. Converge alpha test will be need to be used. These inquiries measure latent variables such as a person's openness, and the rules of thumb of converge alpha coefficient size are as shown in the table. Next slide. So next is multiple regression model. Multiple linear regression are a statistical method commonly used to determine the effect of turnover intention. The technique can help to identify which independent variable have the most decisive influence on the dependent variable and how much of the variation in the dependent variable can be explained by the independent variable. And the equation model of the study is as shown on the slide. So this will be used to answer the objective 2 of this research. And for t-test, so to conduct a t-test, the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis are set. The significance level is chosen and typically at 0.05 or 0.01, and the t statistic is calculated by dividing the difference between the means by the standard error of the difference. Next slide. So for R-square, it is used to test the goodness of fit of the regression line. So in this study, it is used to measure the proportion of variability in a dependent variable that is accounted for by the independent variable in a regression model. For F-test, it is a statistical test that compares the variances of two or more groups. It tests whether the variances of the group being compared are equal or different. Next slide. So last but not least is the time frame or Gantt chart. So for chapter 1 to chapter 3, we started from 31st March until 26 April 2023. However, for chapter 4 and 5, we estimate to continue on November and December 2023. Next. So that is all from us. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the presentation. Can you just roll back to the problem statement slide? I think the overall title is clear because you want to measure, turnover intention more lecturers in private higher education, a case of KYPJ. All right. Got problem statement balik. Okay, so my comment is try to include some of the, the evidence from the academia. Okay, rather than we just report based on what is happening inside this, KYPJ. So please also fuse it together with what is happening in the academia. If you can see, there's a rising trend in terms of lecturer turnover intention, okay, starting from 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So you can get, you can try to make sense of what's happening actually Okay, second is regarding the theory. You did mention that Herzberg theory is, not sufficient in explaining the phenomena, if I heard it correctly. If let's say Herzberg is not enough to explain this and that, you can also try to, put a supporting theory called job demand resources theory, JDRT, job demand resources theory. Okay, that theory did mention specifically on the job resources and the job demand. If let's say the job demand is increased, and it will lead to this kind of emotional exhaustion from the lecturers. So you can use that as a supporting theory. In case, if let's say you mentioned just now kan Herzberg kurang sikit dan sebagainya. So this is my recommendation. Okay, so out of the turnover intention, there are many scholars who use JDRT as the underpinning theory. Okay, second one is your SWOT analysis. Okay, boleh buka SWOT analysis. Okay, my comments are the same. If you do, SWOT analysis, you should be zooming into the issue specifically. What is the strength, the weakness, opportunity, and threats regarding the issue rather than the overall situation of KYPJ. For example, here, the threats, you did mention about the, technological advancements, social-political factors. So this is indeed influence KYPJ, but we want to know how does this issue specifically influence this title, you punya turnover intention. Itu lebih kena. The reason is very simple. If you provide general elements for the SWOT analysis, the recommendation nanti it also be general nanti tau. Okay, if you make this element specific to your research title, there are plenty of good recommendations that you can give later on. Okay. The next one is your research objective. Okay, buka slide research objective. I think there were only two, right? Ada dua saja kan? Betul tak? Or is there three?
Only.
Two only. So I would recommend to have three instead of two. Okay, first research objective, I think very clear because you're going to determine the correlation. Okay, perhaps you might need some reword. And then to examine what are the factors. Okay, research objective 2, you're going to use regression. Research objective 1, you're going to answer this by using correlation, right? Okay, so my recommendation is for you to add in the third research objective, which is the recommendation part. The same like your seniors did, because MBA, it is more towards applied research. Okay, you need to give good recommendations afterwards. So RO3 through those analysis, through the SWOT analysis, you can make something out of it. Boleh? Okay, and last but not least, it is regarding your sample. Okay, please open slide pasal sample tadi. Can you? All right. So sample 113 lecturers. Why 113 lecturers?
This is the current lectures in College AS Johor now.
So meaning to say that same as the first group, right? You're going to take the total population. Okay, kalau you make total population, so be careful with the sampling technique. You did mention something apa tadi, random sampling technique. So in this case, 113 lecturers, all are involved is going to be total sampling technique lah. Okay, who is the KYPJ lecturer here?
Doctor, I'm not a lecturer, but I am in admin KY Yayasan Pelajaran Johor, which is a badan berkanun. This is KYPJ is our anak syarikat, Doctor.
I see. So based on the graph that you gave, it is noticeable, the rising trend of the lecturer resigning.
I have contacted the HR of the admin. I hope it's valid lah.
What are among the reasons that they leave KYPJ?
The reason I have the KYPJ, I think
Ada tanya tak? Kenapa keluar? Because the numbers are rising.
the most important that I asked them, that they say that about the pay and benefit is as a the reason why the lecturer resign and leave the KYPJ, because as I asked them that why the lecturer are leaving, the lecturer get the better offer such be a teacher in school.
I see. All right, noted that. So, you know what? It is better if you can, accommodate some of the reasons, okay, left by them to this research instead. Okay, it will be more meaningful, okay, because everything is go in tandem with what is happening on the ground. Okay.
Doctor,
So, yeah.
can I ask something?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the theory, Herzberg theory,
Mhm.
our intention to so I want our attention to understanding on the job satisfaction,
Mhm.
regardless, then that can influence the turnover attention.
Mhm.
So as you say that we can use
Mhm.
the GTRT
Mhm.
theory. So we
Mhm.
need to say to ganti ke?
Is it we need to combine or to change the theory? Doctor?
All right, good question. You know what? Nowadays it is not uncommon to see the fusion of theories. Research nowadays, and it's called per dan sebagainya. They're adapting more than one theory, because the current issue is getting more complex. So you cannot just explain by using one theory. That is what they are mentioning. So if let's say you just want to use one theory, definitely you can, no problem. But you know what? Herzberg two factors theory, a very general kind of theory. Okay, for example, if let's say you want to explain crowdsourcing bidding decision, bidding decision, you can just use Herzberg two factors theory. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is Herzberg two factors theory is the nice haven, safe haven for you to use. Okay, but if you want better explanation, okay, better zooming in to this kind of specific issues dan sebagainya, there are a lot of theories that you can use. Among it is JDRT theory lah. Okay, doesn't mean that you have to use my recommendation. No. Okay, discuss with your supervisor about this. So perhaps before you ask your supervisor, try to do some homework first. Try to see the trend. What is the theory that they are using right now inside the credible journals? Okay. So you can just use corpus and zooming in into turnover intention among private higher education sectors. There's a lot that you can get from there.
Right. Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. All the best. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Doctor.